muting this week, and I have gotten so many requests to actually talk about palm muting, which is kind of fun because it's a really versatile. Yeah, we are not 40 seconds into the video and I'm already messing up the words. Yeah! We are talking about palm muting this week, and it's a really usable... God! We are talking about palm muting this week, which is a technique that you will meet very often if you're a guitarist, especially if you play blues and rock and metal, I think, because there are some distortion involved in more or less degree. God. So there are some distortion involved, which makes palm muting a really standing out kind of technique. And let me show you why, and let's get talking about palm muting. Yeah! There you go, there's the intro, god damn it! I thought we could have a little part of the intro riff from Master of Puppets, since Metallica is after all the kings of palm muting. And I thought we could have that as a reference point when we are talking about palm muting. And I don't think I will make a lesson of it in this video. I can talk about it in another video, but this is just to have some sort of reference point, or to have some parts that I can compare when I talk about palm muting and not palm muting. So yeah, let's just get playing. And also, it will not be pure downstrokes. I'm sorry, it's just the way it has to be today. And let's get rolling. Let's start with the version without palm muting. So this is what Master of Puppets' part of the intro would sound without palm muting. And to compare that with palm muting, let's play it with palm muting this time. So yeah, palm muting is basically the difference between ringing out and sort of muting the strings using the palm of your hand, therefore palm muting. Basically how palm muting sounds, and let's talk a little bit about what in the world we are going to do to actually make that sound happen on our guitars. So yeah, let's get talking. As I said, palm muting is really in the name of the technique. You use the palm of your hand, which has, of course, a lot of surface. You use the fleshy part of your hand, which sounds so brutal. Oh god, fleshy. Anyways, you use your fleshy part of your picking hand. It's important that it's the picking hand, the hand you use your guitar pick with, and you place it on the bridge of your guitar. If you have a bridge like I do on this guitar, where you have two little thingies, it has to be the thing closest to the pickup, the lowest pickup. It has to be this between the pickup and the bridge. So this one has technically this behindest backest. The bridge in the back of the guitar, this one right here, has no purpose in the palm muting technique. It's this one that you are going to use, and as some sort of help or so, I find it easier now to play palm muting with a guitar which has a Floyd Rose system, but as I started out as a beginner, it was much easier for me to play palm muting or learn palm muting with a set bridge. So yeah, that's a little beginner's tip or so for you. If you're a beginner, I really recommend getting a set bridge and not a floating bridge as it is on this one right here. Yeah, you take your fleshy little hand and you place it on the bridge of the guitar, and you can experiment with the pressure, because some people probably like the sound of you just pushing the strings to its complete limits by pressing your hand towards you. But some songs actually have quite muted palm muting. It is actually quite a limited palm muting, so that you're just sort of laying your hands on the strings. You're not pushing against the strings. So yeah, just experiment with how you like to how far back you like to have your hand, and how much power you actually put into the muting of the strings. You can get really versatile sounds with this technique if you are muting here, which sort of kills your strings. Instead of just muting them, it mutes them to the point of them actually not being just a little bit disturbed. They are actually quite dead in terms of ringing, or ringing out in terms of like you get this and it actually disturbs the intonation. It sounds lighter or higher pitched. Yeah, higher pitched than if you have this in the back of the bridge. Yeah. So I realized this is quite difficult to explain, but I am doing my very best. And yeah, it's in, for example, the Master of Puppets riff. You can hear that some of the notes are palm muted and some of them are not, and that's a really good way of practicing palm muting. It's not just you sitting there going which is it's no movement away from the technique and back to it, because the movement away and back is sort of how you get to know the technique. Because if you let's say if you play a C chord with a lot of distortion and you just hold that C, you don't get familiar with how the C is supposed to shape itself when you are away from the guitar. So by actually doing the technique and getting away from it and getting back again to it is how you learn that it actually works. And the same the same goes for palm muting, where you step away from the technique and back to it multiple times during your round of practicing the riff. Like for example in Master of Puppets, where you have 2 notes muted and 1 not. Because every single time that I'm playing these two, I actually do the exact same thing. But since I have the break of this one, I actually step away from the palm muting technique. So every time that I get back to it, I have actually practiced it twice and not just once by playing it for 13 minutes just. I have actually stepped away from it and get back to it again, away from it and back again. Because then I get familiar with where I actually need to place my hand. Because I might play, okay, there I killed the notes, so I didn't place my hand right, and I need to do it again. So yeah, I hope I'm making sense, God. Yeah, that's the principle of palm muting. You take your hand, you place it very close to or almost on top of the bridge of the guitar, and you just simply play. And it's a really great technique to know, as I said, if you are playing with distortion. But it's a really nice technique to know, like, either way, because it's so usable to anything, and it's mostly used on the 3 lowest strings, the E string, the A string, and the D string. But you can always try to implement it in solo playing, which would be a really interesting element to your playing, because palm muting on the higher strings is not just not normal, but it's not that easy, but it's possible. And it's so out of tune, I am so sorry. But yeah, just have fun with it and experiment with it, and remember that if you are walking away from the technique and get back to it, you learn it a lot easier than you actually just sitting a really long time with the same hand placement, because then you just you get stuck with this one, and you can play it as much as you want, but you are not actually practicing placing your hand where it needs to go for you in order to palm mute. So yeah. Some words here and there I am not that sure of, but it's the charm of being a Norwegian on an English-talking YouTube channel, English-speaking YouTube channel, God! But that's fine. I could take it in Norwegian instead, men jeg tror ikke det er så veldig mange av dere som hadde forstått meg da. That's the palm muting for you right there. And please let me know if you have any questions regarding palm muting, or if you have any requests for Metal Sunday, or requests for this channel. And